Good morning, my little mongooses. Today's fitness test we're going to look at is the RAST test, which is a test for anaerobic power and anaerobic capacity. RAST standing for Running Based Anaerobic Sprint Test. I'm going to walk you through my protocol and I'm going to walk you through how the test is run within its entirety as well. So here we go. So this is my setup just here. We have a start line which is signified by these two blue cones here, and a finish line which is 35 meters over there in the distance. Okay, so this is 35 meters which I measured earlier, and you can see from each end I have a runoff period. So this allows me to sprint right the way through the line, walk around, and then I can then go again. So in total I've got to do 6 sprints, and I'll have a 10-second rest at each sprint. Now you may notice that there's a white block at each end. We'll get in a little bit closer to these. Now, I am very lucky, and trust me when I say this, that I have managed to secure some timing gates here. And between these white blocks is an infrared signal, which basically, it's called a timing gate, which basically, as I run through the line, it will stop and it will tell me how fast I've run each section. And luckily enough, part of the protocol is you must have a good official who knows what to do with this data at these timing gates here as well. So I've got Gary here. So Gary's a friend of mine who says he's willing to do this during the lockdown period. Gary here, who's basically sat in front of the laptops, and he'll be able to work out the speed of my 6 intervals as I'm running it, and he'll be able to calculate from that hopefully my anaerobic power and capacity if I give him my weight as well, which we'll show you later on in the video. Okay, I've also got one more official. This official here, he's responsible for telling me when I've had my 10-second rest at either end. His name's Spot. He's just chilling out in the sun here. So here's Spot, and he'll have a watch later on. Here's the watch, okay, which will basically, he'll be timing me 10 seconds and just letting me know that when my rest period is over and when I've got to go and do another sprint, okay? And that's basically the test protocol. Okay, so prior to every fitness test, you need to perform an appropriate specific warm-up to the test you're about to complete. So I'm going to go off and complete my warm-up for this. Hey kids, I'm about to give the RAST a go. I'm going to wish myself a bit of good luck. I've got a running style very similar to Phoebe Buffet, so I don't rate myself on this if I'm going to be completely honest. But luckily I've got old Gary there on the old laptop. He knows what he's doing. Okay, he's done this a million times before. Look at that little ledge. Okay, and I've got Spot telling me when my 10-second rests are. So I'll see you in a bit when this is all over. 6 sprints, 35 meters, 10-second rest each end. Let's go. All done in 1:25. Yeah, let's look at the results. Okay, so I've just managed to sit down with Gary and he's crunched the numbers, and I'm going to let you know what they are. So my max peak power output for the RAST was 669 watts. So that was the fastest sprint which I did. That's the amount of watts that I produced during it. My minimum peak power output was 664 watts. Okay, so not a huge difference between the two, which therefore gives me an anaerobic capacity of 3942. Now, how we worked out the watts, you're going to see a slide at the end of this, an Excel spreadsheet which has all the different wattage on it as well. But basically, you work it out by your weight. My weight's 85 kilograms. Times it by the length that you ran, which was 35 meters, and then you divide it by the time it took to run it, and that will give you how much power basically you're putting into each sprint. Now, a lot of you are thinking, okay, this is far too complicated. Why do I need to know this data? What's the point of it? Well, actually, the RAST is really suitable for elite athletes, and they're looking at marginal gains really. If you're a non-elite athlete, the data you can get from the RAST is you can actually work out your speed over 35 meters and your fatigue index as well, so how much you fatigue after 6 sprints, which might be a bit more useful. But basically, if you want to know your power, so let's say some rugby players want to know their powers whilst they're sprinting and they actually want to increase their power, there's 2 ways that you can basically do it. You can either do it by increasing your speed, okay, and that increase your overall power output, or you can increase your weight and still run the same speed, and that will increase your power output as well. For example, Binny Vunipola goes into a tackle, into a hit, there's going to be a huge power output there. He's a rugby player for England, because he's big and strong and he's not slow. But you can also get a big power output by somebody who's absolutely fast and rapid. So Anthony Watson, because he's got the pace there, he's got a huge power output, which he'll put in as well. So we're looking that these results are for elite athletes. They're not for your day-to-day athletes. So that's kind of one positive to the fitness test and one downside to it as well. Validity and reliability of this test. Validity is a good test for running, okay? It obviously won't work for cycling. There is the Wingate cycle test, which is more suitable for that and runs in similar sort of pattern. It's useful for games players as well. Games players quite often run 35 metres. Look at rugby players, footballers, hockey players. They all run around that 35 metre mark. So that's why it's been set at that 35 metre mark for it as well. So yeah, it's a reasonably valid test. Reliability wise, there are a few issues with it. Reliability, you need timing gates. It's so hard to do that with a stopwatch. If you have a stopwatch, you're going to lose accuracy. It's hardly going to be worth doing it whatsoever. You need people who know what they're doing. I had Gary, I had Spot, they were absolutely spot on. So they knew what they're doing, and the data that they produced was absolutely fantastic as well. Other reliability issue, I did it on Astro in a pair of trainers. You need to make sure that you're doing it on the right surface for the sport that you are doing. So if you're a rugby player, you need to do it on grass with boots, okay? You also need to make sure if you're doing this test twice to see if you've improved, you're doing it in the same weather conditions. There's no point doing it in December when it's muddy, horrible, and then doing it again in the summer, because of course you're going to improve in the summer. But you might not know why. You might not actually be faster or weighing more. It might purely because the conditions underfoot are a lot better as well. So that's one of the reliability issues, is the weather, footwear and surface that you're doing as well.